The champion of this tower. The king of this tower. What were these men before they were gods?
Hey guys, Tower Climber here, and this video is one that I'm very happy to bring to y'all, and it's a topic that I'm excited to talk about because I think it's really interesting, and because there's some points that I want to bring up that a lot of people might not know about or haven't connected the dots in some cases, and I am happy to bring these arguments, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So enough of the intro. This battle is a colossal one. This one is a battle between the champion of the tower, Urek Mazino, and the king of the tower, Jahad. But in a different state that you might think them as. I will not be pitting them up as their ranker selves, as number 3 and number 4 of the tower respectively. I will be ranking them fully from their data forms. And you might be thinking, oh, but that's weird because Urek is corrupted and errored. So that might put him at a huge disadvantage against Jahad, which is like the king of all the data people, basically, in the hidden floor. That is not exactly what I'll do, and I'll explain. I'm going to be pitting Jahad and Urek at the same point in their climb in the hidden floor against each other. So basically, how the hidden floor works is that by the time you leave the hidden floor, the mirror makes a copy of you. And it should basically indicate how strong you were at that point, exactly a copy of yourself at that point when you leave, right? So so an example, let's say a coon left the hidden floor. When he leaves the hidden floor, the mirror would have made a copy and made him a data person in the hidden floor exactly at that point. So if anyone went to go to the hidden floor and would have meeted coon, data coon, he would have been as strong as he was at that point in climb, even if at the current moment he's a lot stronger than that. You get what I mean? So we can extrapolate that data Jahad is just as strong, as skillful, as everything as Jahad from the actual climb. At that point of his climb was a D rank regular. Data Jahad was at that point, right? And Urek Mazino, I'll be explaining why it's a little more tricky, but I think we can still get a good estimate of how strong he was in comparison to Jahad at that point in climb by using his data version that we saw on the hidden floor. So without any further ado, let us begin this analysis. Okay, so first off, I'm going to be talking about the character that we know definitely the most about, and that is Data Jahad. Data Jahad, and I'll be bringing up some points that a lot of people may not be thinking about when they think about Data Jahad. First, let's just get it as the main point out of the way. Data Jahad and all the 10 Grand family members, when they were in the hidden floor, and by the point that they were D rank regulars, they were as strong at the very much minimum ranker level. It could be established that they were above ranker level, like probably like somewhere in the advanced ranker level, because we know Bomb during the last station fought 2 rankers, Charlie and the Vice Alter Director, and was able to, while in full power, because the Black March said he was holding back in their fight, and Bomb was doing that because he didn't know how long he could extend his power for, and if he didn't save his friends, then it was all for nothing, right? Even if he did beat the rankers. And the Black March said this line. She said she's going to extend his powers, meaning she did not power him up, although you can make a case that igniting a weapon does make you more powerful, of course, right? She basically, what she did for Bomb, mostly, instead of just powering him up, is make sure that his power lasted for longer right? Gave him more stamina, basically. And so that full power bomb that fought Jahad, which, by the way, Jahad was able to equal a bomb that ignited the thorn and used all his power, like the Stardust move, everything, basically used everything, and he's still tied with Bomb. Bomb versus the Rankers in the last station did not use the ignited thorn. He used the thorn, but he didn't ignite the thorn. He didn't do all that stuff. He ignited the black march inside his body later, and Charlie, I mentioned this before, Charlie stated that the attacks from this bomb would have instantly killed them, right, if they got hit by it. So that's insane. So we know that Data Jahad, and by extension Edwan and Gustang and any of the other Data people around that time would have been ranker level. At the very minimum, there's so many examples of this, like Kun saying these were the Data of them before they were rankers when Jahad and Edwan were fighting, right? So we know that they're a ranker level. And this is very important because this establishes right off the bat how crazy this battle is in comparison to something like the battle I did between Yuri and Joaquin, where those two were very powerful regulars in their families, but they were not anywhere close to ranker's full power. All right, so let's clear that off the way. Now, how does Jahad actually fight in this form? He has many attacking options, a lot more than I would actually thought of when I was going into this. He has a lot of versatility. He has many attacking options. He has amazing Shinsu control. He can basically act as a wave controller. He can use like 30 bongs, and these bongs he was able to produce so many bongs that he was able to counteract Bomb's Shinsu black hole sphere. He did it. So the Shinsu black hole sphere basically sucks up Shinsu and bursts it, and it acts like a nullification to Shinsu. So how he did this was just keep firing bongs at this black hole sphere until it ran out of power. That is a pretty good feat for his Shinsu. He has amazing hand-to-hand combat, that so much so that a martial art master at this point during his climb, because he trained before going to the Hell Train with all these martial art masters. Jahad was able to make him look like a novice in hand to hand, which makes sense because he's known as the best fisherman in the whole series. And he has a weapon named Localicus, which Localicus has 3 different forms: Colacanth and Leviathan, right? It is a very powerful weapon that was able to boost his Jahad's powers to the same level as Bomb's transformations, which is very impressive. So what I mean by that is that during the fight between Bomb and Data Jahad, at some point after Bomb ignited the thorn inside of his body, was able to blow off Jahad's whole arm, right? And then, right after that moment, with the second form of Localicus, Jahad was able to strike at Bomb with using a similar attack that he used to blow off his arm and equal it and disperse them. So this weapon can largen gaps in power significantly, right? And with his third weapon, with his third form of his weapon, he was able to cancel out Bomb's strongest attack, like just straight up strongest attack that we have seen in that form, the Stardust, right? Which is like Season 2's Bomb's ultimate, like basic, like all 3 orbs black hole sphere attack, right? It's amazingly powerful, and he was able to still tie with Bomb with that third form. So that is incredibly strong. Okay, I'm going to explain also, because a lot of people have said in this, when I've seen people discuss this fight in particular, I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, well, Bomb was able to evade Jahad's punches, like just with the thorn activated at the beginning of their fight, so Urek stomps him, right? But Jahad could have ended that fight. People literally misconstrued that, because the next panel is Jahad with all of these punches being like, oh, I'm gonna take it a little more seriously, and just a million JoJo punches at Bomb, and Bomb was immediately destroyed by that. And then there's so many instances of the fight where Bomb's like, I'm still alive. How am I still alive, right? Jahad was not taking the fight seriously, and he was still able to keep up with Bomb in his higher level transformations. So no, Bomb did not fight at the beginning of that fight. Did not fight full power. Jahad. Jahad was taking it easy on Bomb, and kept fooling around with him until Bomb was able to transform, and then they were even level of power. And even then, Jahad was still keeping up with him and outsmarting him because of his experience against Bomb. Okay. I just wanted to bring up that point because I see a lot of people bring up that point, and it drives me insane. Okay. Okay, but now this will be Jahad's main point in this fight. He has, just like all the family leaders, he has trained with the God of Guardians and learned the Shinsu Black Hole Sphere. And the Shinsu Black Hole Sphere is an insane power that it basically nullifies Shinsu by bursting it and disrupting it, and acts not like a black hole, but more like an explosion of space, as it's been stated. And it is insanely powerful, right? It basically acts like a so much more powerful attack that it can harm people way above your level. Like, to give you an example of how ridiculous this is, the only attack, White even stated this, that the only attack that Caliban was damaged from that entire fight, until obviously White's like full power attack that blew off Caliban's arm, even then Caliban blew it off, although we know that if he didn't blow up his arm, he would have taken serious damage to himself, as from Caliban's own words. The only damage that he has taken before that big attack from White was from Bomb's Black Hole Sphere attacks. And White has also stated that even the Black Hole Sphere hurts him too. So we know that Bomb was not in their level, right? We can all agree on that. Bomb was around the level of maybe a little bit above Karaka at that point, because they were fighting evenly against Caliban, all that kind of stuff. They were fighting in tandem. They were around that level, that tier of power, I would say, right? Maybe Bomb is stronger than Karaka. Maybe he can beat Karaka in a fight. But that's not the point. The point being is that in that point, that he was in that tier of power. And Karaka was not doing anything. No one in that tier of power can do anything to Caliban. Even White, who was at the same tier as Caliban, was not able to do that damage until he went more outside of his own force limit, and still Bomb was able to hurt him with a Shinsu Black Hole Sphere. So that's crazy, right? That's how like it can bridge the gap in power so much. Obviously, somebody can't use Shinsu Black Hole Sphere as much as somebody can use Shinsu. It has been stated by Bomb that he can't use it as much as he would like to, like with Shinsu, right? But it's still very much impressive, right? That Jahad has this in his pocket, and not only this, he has shown a mastery of it that has, in my opinion, been better than the mastery, or at least equivalent to the mastery Bomb has with it now, because Bomb can do that whole meteor shower kind of thing with the Shinsu loops and Black Hole Sphere. Jahad can put the Shinsu Black Hole Sphere in his body to erupt on all direction like an area effect attack that is very powerful, right? I'll be showing the pictures on screen, and it's very powerful. It can destroy almost everything around him. And it is this is the main points that will carry Jahad in this fight, I believe, and I will explain that when I get to Urek. Another thing I wanted to mention that I mentioned in my flow control explain video, you should check it out because I think it's a pretty good video, that Jahad has actually probably one of the best airwaves or piercing techniques in the mastery in the whole series, because he's able to do it from a range. With his golden palm attack, he was able to do basically like a lesser version, like a lesser powered version of the floor butterfly piercing technique without making contact with the body. He did this against Bomb in their first fight when Bomb hit him with a piercing technique. Jahad just kind of stood there, blocked it easily, and then did a better version from afar. And Jahad said, if you can control Shinsu to such a degree, you can disrupt the Shinsu in somebody's body without even having to touch them. That's insane. Even current bomb has not shown to be able to do something like this at all, right? And we have seen bomb use flow control, only flow control, like reverse flow control from a distance. We have seen that, but not both of them at the same time to disrupt the Shinsu in someone's body. That's only Jahad exclusive ability so far, and that is an insane skill, because those attacks can disrupt the inside of your body and kind of not negate durability, because we've seen Colvin defend against it, but really bridge the gap just like a Shinsu Black Hole Sphere would. A little lesser though, of course. Okay, his moves that I want to bring up that are gonna probably be used in this fight are the ones that we saw in the fight against Bomb. The Cosmos, basically a big Shinsu display. The Golden Bomb, a golden bomb of Shinsu that he fires off that's insanely large. Rampage, a fisherman skill that basically he enhances his own body and just rampages and just beat the crap out of Bomb, right? If Bomb didn't protect himself with the rock. He has the Golden Needle from Mystery Island that he can summon and just use it to clash against Kun Edwan's spear, which is pretty impressive. Again, all his feats are pretty goddamn nuts for a regular. Okay, now I want to bring up, now it is the time that I want to talk about Urek's power as a regular, because this is going to be the point where both we don't have that much information, but the information that we know of is impressive and intriguing, and I want to bring it up so people know about it. Urek was stated to be the fastest in climbing the tower, even faster than Jahad. But keep in mind that while impressive, Jahad and his team had to take up way more difficult challenges than Urek ever had to, because Urek came into the tower when Jahad's rule was already established, right? So all the tests that we see regulars doing right now, that's what Urek was doing, those types of tests. And for Urek, that amount of power would have been, those amount of tests would have been nothing. Of course he was breezing through them. Jahad and his team would have also been able to breeze through these tests, I'm assuming, right? And the administrators were personally, back in Jahad's climb, were personally the administrators of these tests, and the Guardians were pitting them up against like giant machine gods and that kind of stuff. And it was crazy, right? So Jahad had to deal with more challenges than Urek. Although it's still an impressive feat that he was able to climb the tower faster than anyone else in 50 years. That's still insane, because it takes people like hundreds of years to climb the tower. Even really strong and powerful people like Yuri and all that kind of stuff. Now, another statement that has been made about Urek's power at this point in time was that the Garda Guardians have stated that Urek was much more stronger than him in power when he boarded the Hell Train, which is an impressive feat, because we probably know that Jahad and his family members and the family leaders were not stronger than the Garda Guardians, either at least not stronger or around the same level as him, but he was still better because he taught them. And we know this because Urek did not actually get taught by the Garda Guardians. He just kind of like, well, whatever, right? From what we know, at least, the Garda Guardians did not do revolution with Urek, did not teach Urek, did not do anything like that with Urek. From what we know, Urek kind of just boarded the Hell Train and left. Went all the way until the hidden floor, and just, and this brings up the next point. Because he did not train with the Garda Guardians, he does not know Shinsu Black Hole Sphere. This has been a contentious topic, but there's more evidence that he doesn't know it than actually does know it. And the main point that I wanted to bring up of why he does not know it is because it comes from himself. Urek Mazino right now currently says when he saw Bomb use the skill Shinsu Black Hole Sphere against Hell Joe, he says he sees this and says, it's like what the 10 great family leaders do. He does not say what we can do, what the regulars can do. He says what the 10 great family leaders did. And that goes to, for me, show that Urek does not know how to use the skill. Urek has still been able to show spatial distortion and manipulation. as when he appeared in front of Gusting. Gusting was taking all the souls back from White, and Urek just appeared. So he does know how to manipulate space. We know that, but he does not know how to use the Shinsu Black Hole Spear in specifically, right? So that is going to be a detractor for Urek in this fight. Okay. And another point of Urek is that we know that when he left the floor of death, not the health train. Well, technically the health train and the hidden floor are connected. You know, when he left the hidden floor, he was going to get copied, but his power was too much for the train to copy, the mirror to copy, and he got so pissed off and he broke it. Right? This obviously did not happen to Jahad and his companions, meaning that Urek at this point was stronger than Jahad and his companions, at least in pure Shinsu and power level, right? That's what I mean. This is what that means to me, and it just shows this is another feat for Urek at this point in his climb, that he was stronger than this. And a feat that we can extrapolate to Urek, because we know the real Urek at this point of his climb was way stronger, because we have been stated this by Data Urek, was way stronger than Data Urek. And Data Urek was able to be blitzing around the mirror at light speed or whatever, and he said the Urek Mazino is much faster than this. And also, Data Urek was able to break the red horns of Data Jahad's of King Jahad's data that entered the hidden floor, whereas Kun Edwan and Data Jahad were not able to do anything even with their strongest attacks to him. You could argue that the horns were far away from King Jahad and were not actually as strong as his real main body. It's fair. I don't think Data Urek would have been able to do anything about King Jahad either in that situation. But it's still more impressive than what Data Jahad and Data Edwan were able to do. So yeah, basically that is all that I wanted to state. There is one more thing that is important but not crucial to this fight that I think is another point comparing Urek in his regular days. Perdity, when he was fighting Jinsong and Bomb got snatched up by Holin, and Holin was fighting Bomb. Bomb kind of not destroyed Holin, but messed him up pretty badly, and Holin said that he would have been defeated if he not protected by a Shinwei, right? And Perdity makes a very interesting point. He says, he looks at Bomb doing this to Holin, and Holin's a high ranker, right? He says, I did not know he had Urek Mazino's level type of power, which implies that Urek, as a C rank regular, like Bomb would be at this point, was able to compete and beat high ranker of Holin's level. This is not really a factor in this discussion because we're taking D rank Urek, but this could scale D rank Urek up higher because we know how fast he went up the tower. So I would argue that the difference between ranks for him didn't mean that much. Obviously, I feel like I won't take the feats of A rank Urek, which fought Arya Han, to a standstill, because I still think there should be a big difference between A rank Urek and D rank. I won't be taking that into account. If you want to take that into account, Data Jahad has no chance at all. But I don't think that's fair to do. I think C rank and D rank are fair to do. So even if D rank Urek is weaker than that statement that Perdity made about Bomb, right, having Urek Mazino level type of power, in that moment, that he still should scale to it, right? Because of how fast he went up his climb, he wasn't the most astronomically stronger than he probably would have been. Okay. After taking everything into conclusion, in my opinion, Urek has shown more feat of being, in stats, pure stats, stronger than Jahad's data. But the question is less about strength and more about if Jahad's ability and skills can equal the power difference, and The only way I can see this being the case is being Jahad's more experienced and smart fighting style in comparison to Urek's more bold and just go into your face and not really be thinking about strategies, right? That's just kind of how Jahad and Urek fight. Jahad is way more of an adventurer, way more tactical, full, all that kind of stuff. Urek is frankly not. We've seen in his fight against many people and somebody around the family leader's level, like Lustlek, that he kind of just like, I don't really like thinking about things. I'm just going to blow things up and I'm just going to boom, right? Make everything disappear around me. And because I'm so goddamn powerful, right? So this is the main factor that's going to be a big thing for Data Jahad is his mastery of the Shinsu Black Hole Sphere. Like I've said, this attack is crazy. I will give you one more example for you to know how crazy this is. Bomb in the Floor of Death, when he just learned this move, was able to dissipate the Shinsu of Karaka, a high ranker. And in this time, I believe that Bomb was not even a ranker level opponent, right? You could argue that maybe he's just reaching barely because of the Shinsu Black Hole Sphere, but he's not a ranker level opponent. I believe Bomb only became a ranker level opponent around the time of Hidden Floor when his training with Edwan. I feel like that's fair to say. But before that, I don't think so. And he was still able, with an incomplete Shinsu Black Hole Sphere, because he did not have it fully down at this point, he was still able to dissipate the Shinsu of a high ranker like Karaka, right? That is insane feat. And it makes the Shinsu Black Hole Sphere insanely powerful, right? And other things like Jahad being able to use a piercing technique and all that stuff, it equals it out. So Urek is like here, Data Jahad is here, but because of his techniques, they kind of are more even level. That's how I see it, because Data Jahad has skills and fighting experience that would even the gap. Kind of how, again, like Urek, current Urek versus Lustlek went. Like, where, yeah, Urek is stronger than Lustlek, but Lustlek has a lot of hacks and abilities that make it a tough fight for Urek. Enough to make him bleed and all that stuff. And obviously, Urek was not going all out. No one is saying that. No one's even thinking that. We know how much Urek was going out because Urek is the only person in Tower of God that says how strong he is when he's using his power, right? So in my opinion, this is a close fight, but not because of the stats in the fight, not because of like, oh, they're equal in power and all that stuff, but because of a lack of abilities shown by Urek. And by what I mean by that is that Urek, yes, he is skilled, he is powerful, he is insanely, I would argue that he's probably the most physically powerful person in the tower currently, right? And I'm going to be getting into that when I do a full a ranker version of this fight that I'm going to do in the future. So get excited for that. I hope you guys will enjoy that one very much, because I have a lot of other topics I want to talk about that. I feel like because of his nature of how he fights, Jahad can definitely take advantage of that and use that enough to damage Urek enough so he brings Urek down to a level where they're pretty much equal. And Jahad doesn't even have to, and Jahad's going to extend energy. This is the main point. Jahad's going to extend energy to bring Urek down to that level of power, right? But he actually, when he gets to that level of power, he doesn't actually have to do much himself, like extend more energy. He can use his weapon. We know that weapons, again, don't take from your stamina because weapons have their own Shinsu. So Jahad will be able to pull his weapon out and actually clash with Urek when Urek is in a more damaged state from a Shinsu Black Hole Sphere, a piercing technique, all that kind of stuff. So, and then they would be able to fight more evenly. And I honestly think from the feats and skills that we have seen from Data, Jahad was able to beat a martial artist easily, right? Like Bomb and all that kind of stuff. And his reputation of being the best fisherman in the tower I do think that Urek would fall to Data Jahad in a if I would have put in a ranking like a 7-10 fight in Data Jahad's favor. If this is a big if he takes Urek seriously from the start. If he does not and does like this and just bangs Urek, the difference in power in stats, Urek is blowing through everything and punching Jahad in the face and may win immediately. Because if he holds back to the amount that he held back against Bomb, that's not... I don't think Jahad is that stupid, because he's going to sense Urek's power, right? He's going to sense Urek's powers, get excited, have a smile on his face, and he's like, this is a challenge, right? And bring out all his best power. I think that's what's going to happen, and because of that, Jahad will win. But if he doesn't, that is how Urek wins. If he starts this fight just like this, not taking it seriously, waiting for Urek to show him something, Urek will be too fast to show him something and just blitz Jahad and punch him, and probably not in one blow, but probably like a fury of blows take out Jahad. In my opinion, that is how this fight will go. So this fight was very intense and very interesting to make, because you know, we see a lot of Data Jahad, and we know how Data Jahad fought, and we have been extensively knowing of his abilities. But taking a Urek as a regular that we have not actually seen in the proper story and scaling him up to this versions of his characters was pretty interesting to do, and the research for it was pretty fun, honestly. I love making these videos. I'm always going to love making these videos, and I'm going to make a lot more. Again, I already have ideas of doing the same battle, but with a current versions of them, right? So get excited for that. I'm excited to do that. My next video will be an explanation video on Tower of God. I will not tell you what it is, but because fully I do not know, I'm picking between 3 options right now. I might make a poll on it, but we'll see. We'll see what you guys want to see, and hopefully everything goes well for you guys. And remember, I'll always be here to tell you the truth, and when the truth is not spelled out for you, I'll be here to give my opinion on the truth. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and see you guys later.